are going to be doing a paper list for today, so I decided to try something a little different. I'm going to show you the deck I plan on playing for this Sunday at the locals, and then I'll come back next week with the new video and I'll do a brief recap of how that went, and I'll tell you the matches and my overall record, or if I just got salty, dropped, and left early. So this Sunday I will be playing Machina with Ancient Gear. So let's take a look at the list, the 40 I decided on. So first off, we have Plague Spreader Zombie. The deck is all OCG except for one card because I just do not own it in OCG. So the Plague Spreader Zombie, Sanguine, 3 decos. And you can see it already right here. We are going to be trying to play a black Salvo build of the deck. I've really been enjoying Salvo recently, so that is the route we are taking. And one single Cyber Dragon. I will be side decking the other one. However, I am not going to reveal my side deck in this video because, well, I don't want to be completely countered on Sunday, even with the side deck. So that is it for the smaller engine of this deck. We have Plague, Sanguine, Decos, and Black Salvo. So these are most of our normal slash sets. Of course, we will have Gear Frame as well. So I'm not going to cover too many plays. Maybe next week I'll go over plays. But the Sanguine is one of those I'm not sure if I wanted to play or not. I was in and out about the Sanguine, but I ended up keeping it in because it can search for Salvo. It can search for the Plague Spreader. And, well, we will see how well that works overall. All right, and next up, we have the Cyber Dragon. And next up, we have the 3 Machina Gear Frame, Machina Gear Frame, however you want to pronounce it. So the necessary evils, we will also be on 3 Machina Force, because being able to special summon your monsters is pretty good. So we like to have our monster reborns in the deck. And then, of course, we are on 3 Fortress, mainly because we are playing those bigger monsters in this deck. So I figured I'd give the 3 Fortress a try instead of 2. I want to see it a lot, and yeah, so that's what we went with. And for the Ancient Gear engine, I am playing 2 Ancient Gear Galvatron Dragons. I have Japanese ones, but I went with the Korean ones for the video. I'll probably use these because I'm just too lazy to change them. So yeah, so we went with the Korean ones for the video. So I only play 2 because I don't think the 3rd is necessary. I've seen some people they'll play 1, but I'm kind of worried about it just getting bottomless, and then I don't have any. I'd rather give them multiple things to worry about playing their, 2 bottomless on, if they're even on bottomless trap hole, of course. So I went with 2 Ancient Gear Galvatron Dragons and 1 Ancient Gear Beast. I am a fan of this with Gear Town. You can just normal it and get through stuff. It does some pretty fun stuff to make sure our attacks go off. I can see myself siding this one out a lot. Actually, I think the reason I went with the Korean Ancient Gear Galvatron Dragons is because I only have a Korean Ancient Gear Beast. So that might be why I went with that. I kind of built this deck a few hours ago. All right, and now we will go over the spells. So we have the obvious spell, Brain Control. No explanation needed. Edison format. Edison format. All right, we have Giant Trunade, Mystical Space Typhoon, Heavy Storm, because we want to make sure our attacks and summons go through, because I am fully committing to the limiter removal, win more in this deck. So Terraforming and the Triple Gear Town. So we will be on the Gear Towns, but my hot spicy tech for this deck, I will be main decking Zombie World. So this is the only non-OCG card in the deck, in the main deck anyway, and it is Zombie World. So if you don't know what this does, it makes every monster on the field and the graveyard zombie type, so you can't be Chimera Tech. You can also only tribute for zombies. That means your opponent can't tribute for Caius, and it's really good versus frogs and certain things, but I'll show you some things I'm playing because of this card. So yeah, we'll jump into it a little more when we get to the extra deck. So I am citing more of these. So this is not the only copy in the deck as a whole, but is the only copy in the main deck. So those are the spells. There are 10 spells, 10 traps, and I think 20 monsters. So the classic 20-10-10 ratio. So we have our one-ofs. We're playing one called the Haunted, so we can grab back Ancient Gears and, you know, just do some fun little stuff. We have the Solemn because it's solemn. Mirror Force because, you know, we want to not die. Torrential, same thing. Want to be able to blow up the field when we're behind. It's really good versus those overly aggressive decks, like mine, honestly. And yeah, so that's our one of traps. I have a better Torrential, but this is the first one I saw when building the deck, and I was tired of looking for cards. So we are also are on two dual terminal. Why am I saying they're dual terminal? Two Dust Tornado. So we are on double Dust Tornado, trying to get those attacks in. And then we have our counter traps as well, not actual counter traps, counters to plays. So we play double Bottomless Trap Hole, double D-Prison, so we can stop their attacks, stop their specials, and make sure that the board is clear and ready to get Hulk smashed with all of our Ancient Gears. So as I said, there's 10 traps, 10 spells, and 20 monsters. So that is the entire main deck. I'm not so sure how good the Salvo engine is going to be. Obviously, this makes it slightly worse going into the Cyber Dragons because it's even more machines in the deck. But overall, I don't think it's much of an issue because Deco is normally going to be face down and it'll just get ran over. And Salvo's never staying on the field, but I chose to play the Plague Spreader because I realized I had no ways to make sixes without convoluted Black Salvo Sanguine type plays. And well, Bryonic and Goyo are ridiculously strong, so I threw in the Plague Spreader. And this was not supposed to be Zombie World. This was supposed to be Gaia Power. Unfortunately, I do not have a Gaia Power, and I could not find one. So I made the choice of teching a main deck Zombie World to see how that works out for me. I would rather have the Gaia Power, but the Zombie World does enable a few pretty fun plays. So let's take a look at the extra deck. So we are on our 2/5s, Cataster and Android. These are pretty much unsummonable without brain control. Otherwise, I'm using Sanguine Plague Spreader to make one of these two. That's about the only way I can do it main deck. So yeah, that's the 2/5s. And then we also have our 6s. So obviously we have Bryo and Goyo. Those are the 6s that we play. They are great, great fun. I mean, Bryo is a ridiculous card. You don't need me to explain that. And then here comes our tech, because this deck, well, it had a little bit of extra deck space because it can only go into so many different levels because there's only Salvo and then the Plague. So I can only make 6s and 7s, and I can use a 6 to make an 8, or I can use a 7 to make a 9, depending, you know, on the 7s. So there's only so much I can do. So with me deciding to play this tech Zombie World, I am playing Doomkaiser, and well, yeah, you see them. So the ones that need Plague Spreader to be specialed and like need a zombie to be specialed, well, guess what, guys? These turn them into a zombie, so I can just make them main deck. I can use this to negate, and I can use this, I believe, to special something because I'm also turning their monsters into it. I should look more into that, but that is my thought pattern behind throwing these two in the deck, is that Zombie World enables plays that I typically couldn't do. And of course, I will be citing more Zombie Worlds, which makes them a little more relevant. And then Chimera Tech somehow got shuffled into the middle there. It should have been the first one. I don't know. I got my extra deck out of order. And then we have our 7s. So the first 7 is Black Rose Dragon. I swapped out for the 25th Century Secret because I kind of like that one. I don't know why. I just like them. And then Ancient Fairy Dragon for a big booty. And then Urbellum, however you pronounce this guy, Exaber Urbellum for another 7 play. So we only have those 3 7s. So we have Black Rose, Ancient Fairy, and Urbellum. So hopefully they are enough. and it doesn't come back to bite me for not playing more than this, but I think it should be fine. I can't make Armor Master, so that's really the only choices I kind of have. And then the 8s, we have some typical stuff. We have Stardust, Colossal, Thought Ruler. Again, I have OCG version of this. I just like this one because it's a first edition Italian Super. And then, yeah, the Thought Ruler. And then the one of that, it's a super situational card and would literally require me to either brain control a Caius or already have this out here, and that's the Darkened Dragon. There's no darks in the deck to make this with, so yeah. it's a situational card, but it is what it is. Yeah, my thought process is exactly right about that. So I have to have, actually this is a fire, so I have to basically brain control and make old Ruler Boy over here to do anything about it. So like I said, there's space in here. You don't have to play the Dark End, but I also feel like I kind of want the Dark End in here just in case. And then originally the Dark End were 2 of these, which I'll reveal in just a second. So it was 2 of these and no Dark End, but I dropped 1 for the Dark End because I feel like 2 of these is even more situational than the Dark End, because this takes a 7 and a 2 to make. And it's kind of difficult. I mean, the obvious play is just Fortress Plague Spreader because the other monster needs to be an Earth. But the only other way I can make it is using Herbellum Plague Spreader, and if that's the case, you know, it's too, like, how did I even make the first one to need the second one, right? Like, it's too much. Two is way too many. It's a situational 3100. I wish I had Gaia Power though, because that would make him a 3600. But without the Gaia Power, it allows me to play that and do funny things with, you know, cards that need zombies and Plague Spreader to be used. So this is the deck I decided to go with for Sunday. 2010-10 classic, you know, split. I don't think the deck is going to be super great, but I do think I might top with this. You know, it has power plays. And yeah, just wish me luck, and I'll come back with a recap at the beginning of next week to tell you about how it went. And if you follow Edison Format Italia, and I do top 8, then you'll already know about that, because those results go up on Mondays on the Edison Format Italia page. It's nice to show off this deck, and hopefully it does well for me. The double salvos might be a bit much, but we're going to find out together, guys. See you next week. Wait for the results. Find out if the deck scrubbed or was it good enough to actually top and get me some store credit.